Perseverance is defined as the endurance of hardship. But what if true perseverance actually means letting go? Welcome to Sala Talks, a podcast where we explore identity, culture, ambition, and what it means to build a life beyond survival. My name is Besas, and I am your host. Welcome back to another episode of the Sala Talks podcast. If you have been following along, we have been talking how many of us first-gen professionals learned how to use our education as an armor, how we kept chasing, believing that the next milestone would finally make us feel whole. But what happens when you finally get there and you still feel empty? Because that's where this story continues. For me, that moment came after I got my doctorate degree, the very thing that I thought would finally make me feel whole. But it didn't. On paper, I had achieved everything. I checked off all the boxes. But the truth is, on the inside, I felt hollow and lost. So who are you outside of your achievements? My therapist asked. And I knew something was wrong when I didn't know how to answer that question. I could tell you what I did. I could tell you my long list of accomplishments. But who I was, I didn't really know, and I wasn't really sure. And it took some time to reflect on it. And I came up with, I am a daughter, I'm a sister, and I am a child of God. But these were the aspects of my life that I wasn't getting an A+ in like I normally do. And if I'm being honest, they became the very things that I had learned to neglect in my quest for belonging. The parts of myself that actually mattered the most. Relationships that I valued and held so dearly in my heart, but I took for granted because I so desperately wanted to fit in. I chased so hard for validation that I actually slowly abandoned myself in the process. The more I achieved, the more disconnected I became from myself. I drifted so far away from myself that I could no longer recognize who I was anymore. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't persevering towards something. I was persevering to avoid something. Avoiding the stillness, avoiding the discomfort, avoiding the question, am I still enough without all of this? Because as long as I kept chasing for more, and more, then I would never have to find out. And it wasn't until that moment that it finally clicked. Perseverance is not defined by our ability to endure, but by our ability to break free. It was finally having the courage to ask myself questions that gnawed at me at night. The humility to admit that I was actually broken. To sit still when it was easier to chase after the next goal. To reconnect with the parts of myself that I had learned to bury to belong. To reclaim my voice, the one that I had silenced because of my shame. Perseverance is not defined by our ability to endure, but by our ability to break free. And the only way out is in. If this conversation resonated with you, make sure to follow and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future episodes, and share it with someone who might need to hear it too. And just a reminder, you are enough and never alone. I'll see you back here in the Sala.